Mabuhay, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. This is going to be a video about foreigner in Filipina. Becoming a father or getting scammed by a Filipina. Which is your greatest concern? Now, I know there are concerns when these situations where the women are thousands of miles apart. I actually married a woman from the Philippines back in 2015, so almost 8 years ago. And I didn't know a whole lot about anything with regarding international dating and even the Philippines. I just knew I wanted to go where I was wanted, and I was able to find a wife there. But I've learned a lot since then, and I try to pass that along with any other help for men looking for a wife from the Philippines here on Love Beyond the Sea. So please subscribe and leave comments about this one. If I think of a couple of concerns that a man would have, what I hear anyway, is, the baby issue. Will I be expected to become a father? And then there is the thought of getting scammed. So I want to talk about that because those things are very much significant to the conversation if you're thinking about marrying a woman from the Philippines. As far as being scammed, excuse me, this cough, I don't know what to do about it. Probably should stop carrying. Being scammed, I think there's just a couple major things here that a man can do to make sure he doesn't get scammed. And the first one is, of course, don't send any money. If you haven't, to be safe, until you're engaged and you've proposed to them and they've accepted, that's the safest way. Don't send any money until you are engaged and you've both shown that you're serious about each other. Or you could say, well, I'm not going to send any money for any help at all until we've met in person. You could do that, but, how well do you know them before you meet them in person? Maybe if you've talked for hours a day for several years, you could do that. But the main thing to avoid is quickly giving money because somebody has a need. And I don't think the man is doing the right thing by offering out of nowhere, just unsolicited money. Hey, I'd like to help you with this. Can you use this kind of money? That's the bad way to start, because then he could force her to believe that they have something going when they really don't yet. So that's kind of like a bribe. So I would not do that. And if she's talking to you about needs that she has, that seems really inappropriate if you're dating somebody from the West, right? If you're in America, and a woman you just met online starts talking to you about needs that she has, you're going to be done with her and check her off your list, because you'd be so shocked that anybody would do that. But that does happen a lot in the Philippines, and it's terrible. Red flag if somebody asks you for money or does it the reverse way, says that they have a need, so that the man, of course, is likely to meet that need to a woman he's never met and may never meet. And that's how you get taken advantage of and suckered into a scam, is by giving money before you really should. I would say until you're engaged, don't give any money, or at least second best, meet her first in person. And that's it. Otherwise, you just set yourself up to give more and more. The other one is saying, I love you. You can avoid getting scammed if you're not talking about love to her and she's not talking about love to you. And I'm talking early on here, where people will say this, they've never met, and they'll say, well, but I love you. And, well, I'm not sure. I kind of feel like you're better off not being too concerned about love until after you get married, because then you have to. Before then, you can say anything you want and make any promises you want, and it means absolutely nothing until the day you were married. So if the woman saying, I love you, you haven't met, maybe you've only known her, 2 or 3 months or 2 or 3 weeks, and she says she loves you, and then she repeats that, well, most likely she's lying to you, or she simply doesn't know what else to say, or doesn't know what love means, or is saying it just to keep you there. Well, that's wrong too, because then she's trying to influence you by saying something that she knows you would like to hear. So if you're not sending money and you don't fall for out of place I love yous, and try to avoid saying that yourself. My wife and I, when we got married very fast. We're talking less than 8 weeks. But we decided not to say, I love you, or text, I love you. We didn't want to do that yet because we hadn't met. And when we did meet, we got married, and that was 8 years ago. So those two things can avoid a lot of problems. Now, as far as the other one, Filipina wanting a baby, I know a lot of men are concerned about that, and she will want a baby if she doesn't have one of her own. If she does, maybe she's satisfied with that. Most likely, if she hasn't, she will want a baby, and if you marry her, you will be expected, no matter what she tells you, to give you a baby. And I agree with those that say the need will just increase, and her sadness and despair will just increase if she's not able to have that baby. And, we all say things at some time in life, and we don't always mean it. Like, okay, I'm okay with this, or I think I can do that. And then as time goes by, it's like, boy, I don't feel that way anymore. And that's probably what will happen with a baby. So just understand, if you're whatever age and you're looking for a girl that's in her 20s, and you're okay if she doesn't have a baby, just beware that, she's going to want you to give her one. So that's just, the odds are that's the way it's going to be. So take that very seriously. Don't send money. And as far as the baby, I think that would be your greatest concern, because, once you're married, if you're not giving them that child, or you don't care, or you're not even trying, well, she doesn't understand that. If you're trying and it's not working, that's one thing, but you still have the problem of her not having a baby. So if you want to avoid any of that, just don't, date a Filipina doesn't have any children. And I know the younger ones are usually the ones that the men want. So I think that would be your greatest concern. She's going to want one. It's just unfair to her to expect her not to. A leopard can't, change its spots. So a bonus concern here I thought of was, people think, is her love real? Does she really love me? And I've done videos on this before, but I'll mention it here, because that is another thing that people worry about, that they're hearing, I love you, but they don't know, does she have any commitment to me at all? She shouldn't say I love you, as I mentioned before, but also there's this concern even after you're married. You could be wondering, well, she married me, but did she marry me for money? Not money I can give her before we got married, but did she marry me for money, or anything else I could benefit her with after marriage? Is she staying with me for the money, and your love is not real? Well, I don't know. Maybe you just have to find out. I just always default back to treating her as well as possible, be good to her, put her needs above your own, sacrifice for her. That's what husbands should do for wives, no matter what the age difference or the experience level or where they're from. Husbands are to love their wives that way. I talk a lot about that here on Love Beyond the Sea. So I think a guy will be just fine and not have to worry about that love. And love does grow, but it doesn't have to be there until you get married. Then you have to roll up your sleeves and go to work. And I'd like to think my videos can help you try to understand that philosophy. All the hard work is going to happen after you get married, is another way of saying that. So let me know what you think about this. I know some big concerns are, the baby issue with the Filipina. Certainly not likely to be the same concern if you're marrying somebody in the West, but if we're talking Filipinas, they're in the Philippines. And then the money issue. So let me know what you think about these two concerns for men who are looking to find love beyond the sea.